Hey, happy, beautiful, amazing day. Dr. Bob Rakowski here, truth seeker and truth speaker on May 17th, 2020. So do you want to know about the perfect storm for COVID death and maybe understand why the US is leading the way in terms of COVID death? Well, I'm going to say that the perfect storm for COVID death has been created in America and in New York City, and I believe the death statistics really show that to be true. So in America, we absolutely have a drug abuse problem. Let's look at the top 10 drugs, and you may be surprised, even shocked, that 7 of the 10 increase the probability directly of contributing to a COVID crisis, a cytokine storm, and COVID death. So let's take them one by one. First and foremost, we're the most drugged nation ever, with prescription spending going up every single year. There's a lot of people suffer with chronic pain, and therefore they're taking medications consistently for that. And the number one prescribed drug in the US today is Vicodin. So Vicodin is a combination of hydrocodone, which is an opioid, which is highly addictive, and Tylenol, which in and of itself has some challenges. So let's take a look at this data from the peer-reviewed medical literature. Vicodin, or opioids, have potential for abuse, addiction, and guess what? The long-term effects are immunosuppression. Your immune system is to protect you from bad things like viruses like COVID. Notice that opioids can also cause inflammation by releasing cytokines. So you've heard of this thing called the cytokine storm. And let's take a look at Tylenol. Here's what it says. There's an association between Tylenol, acetaminophen, and asthma. And they were even questioning, should it be used in pediatrics anymore? So take a look. There's also a good deal of evidence supporting biological plausibility of the detrimental effect of Tylenol on the airways. Remember, COVID attacks, or infects, I should say, the lungs. So now let's look at this idea of statins. So if you're a 60-year-old man or older, there's a 50% probability you've been prescribed statin drugs. 38% of women over the age of 60. And remember that viruses have to get into our cells a certain way. This SARS-CoV-2 gets in through something called the ACE2 receptor. Well, guess what? Statins increase ACE2 receptors. By the way, so do ACE inhibitors. So now we've got the number 2 drug is a statin. The number 7 drug is a statin. The number 3 drug is an ACE inhibitor. So we've gone through 4 drugs now that have mechanisms that can increase this COVID problem. Now we look at the gut microbiome, the bugs in our gut. There's more bugs in our gut than our cells in our body. The gut microbiome is associated with chronic pain, and understand that these two are antibiotics. Antibiotics disrupt the microbiome, and within this article, it says, disruption of the microbiome opens niches available for pathogenic intrusion. In other words, for infective organisms to get into your system. I promise that'll cause an inflammatory process and distress your immune system. But here's what we know now. The medical literature, 2020, says that a sick microbiome contributes to the cytokine storm. So we have a lot of things that are setting us up to potentially get killed from COVID. So here are the cytokines associated with the cytokine storm of SARS-CoV. And then notice when we have an altered microbiome, 3 of the cytokines listed for the cytokine storm are contributed by our heavy use of antibiotics and our most popular use of antibiotics in this culture. Then we can throw in flu vaccines. Remember, they're wanting to create a vaccine, but people that got the vaccine were 36% more likely to get COVID. Oh, and by the way, this year's flu vaccine, estimated efficacy, 10%. So let's look at this on a risk-benefit ratio. For certain, they are sticking foreign stuff into your cells. Look at everything's in the vaccines. This doesn't have to be a pro or con vaccine thing, but look at what's in there. Look at that it's grown in tissues of other animals. Look at the preservatives and additives that are getting in there. I'm going to say there's a 100% probability of doing harm. If nothing else, just stabbing you hurts. But what about the poisons in the system? And a 10% benefit, potential benefit of it actually helping you to not get the flu. I like this quote: you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. I think it's time to start getting rid of our drug dependence, our medicalized society, and move towards better health. If you agree with me, please share this. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful. More good truths coming your way.